I'm not going to preach today because I felt pretty compelled these last several weeks to think about our neighbors roundabout, and guess what I was thinking about this day in particular is we spent some time doing what Jesus commands, that we love the Lord with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. We did that with some worship time together, but he says the second command is like the first, that we would love our neighbors as ourselves. And I was pondering, it's kind of a Thanksgiving thing, thanking the Lord for the blessings that we have, and of course one of the blessings is just the existence that is centered around Rose Valley, what we like to call our little corner of the world out here. And I was remembering some history, and the Friends Church, they decided to plant a church in Kelso back when Kelso was new, back in 25 or something like that. And somewhere around 1935, someone from the Rose Valley area asked if there could be a Bible study out here in Rose Valley. And the Grange opened their doors in 1935, and a Bible study happened there. And 4 years later, the Bible study was much bigger out here than the church in Kelso was, and so moved the operation out here, built the first church. And so just thinking about, here it is, 2025, 90 years later from all of that, and what would the world be in this corner if that hadn't happened? One thing for sure, we wouldn't all be here. Many of the relationships that we have with one another, even though the people back then got it all started, most of them have passed. Many of them I didn't know. I am fortunately old enough to remember the first pastor out in Rose Valley, Oscar Brown. He was really old when I met him, I was just thinking of a thing to honor, a thing to be thankful for, was all those years ago and all through the years, different people in our community have risen up, poured their hearts into different things around here, made a difference in our community, and it's been a great blessing. And so part of today is just to thank those who have gone before us. We do, it's a cliche, but we stand on their shoulders. The things that they built, we have benefited from. And I think that's just a thing to really remember sometimes, is that kind of thing. And so anyways, asked some people to come today, the Grange. We got a couple of wonderful ladies from the Grange that I'll be talking to for a couple minutes. Going to talk to Dave LaFave from Fire District out here, long-time Rose Valley guy, and big connection with the Fire District and Rose Valley. They're the ones that burnt the church down over there, and then later they burnt down the old gym too. So I think we need to, I don't know if they knew what fire department meant. Anyways. And then also ask Mountain Ministries to come and share, just that we might know a little bit more about each other, so that we can support and pray. And I guess my idea or my thought is, that whatever happened in the past built a really wonderful community out here. It's just incredible. But we need to carry that forward. and it doesn't happen automatically, and the times, they are a-changing, and a lot of things are different than before. We have to deal with circumstances that are very different, a culture that has shifted. The generations that went before were very much joining people and building things, and they didn't have anything else to do because they didn't have cable TV and it's all that. I don't know. But now we got stuff, right? And people stay home. It is said, and I think it's true, that we live in an age now where people are massively more connected to the outside world and massively less connected to their neighbors and even their families. And it's a weird thing. And we have to do our best to move in a different direction, that we might be able to be linked together to do the things that we ought to be doing as a community, and to bless whoever comes after us. So with that, I want to ask Mountain Ministries. This is Rick and Ashley. They're coming up. They're the kind of the guinea pigs, and in true Mountain Ministry fashion, I really didn't tell them anything that I was going to ask them of, because that's what Mountain Ministries does to me every time. It's like,
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, so it's always a little ad-libby in that world. But I guess just to start, can you give me a brief kind of where Mountain Ministry started and kind of the ruling philosophies of it?
Sure. Am I on? It started about 50 or 60 years ago in Faye Miller's house. Faye, raise your hand. Right there. A little higher next time.
She's going to punch you.
It started in her house, and it has now moved up to the top of Maranatha Road. It's a very unique place. It's not just a place to send people for a quick fix on their sobriety. Not that guy, so. Check 1, 2. Check.
There we go. It's on, it's on.
Okay. Woo! Waking you up. Heavy bondage, very heavy, just long-term use of drugs and alcohol. This is a place not only to get off of drugs and alcohol, but to completely change their lives, to completely become a disciple of Jesus Christ, becoming functioning members of the society, becoming leadership in churches. You got Vinny, you got Dave, you got Peter Madden, people who have come out of heavy, heavy depression, and we just saturate these people with Jesus Christ. Nothing else. It's not like a 12-step AA or NA, which is good for some people and it works, but this is just all Jesus all the time. And the things we see, the people coming out of this program is totally magnificent, and we rely fully on Jesus. It's all about his faithfulness. It's not about our faithfulness. So that's a little bit about it.
Okay. So 1-year program, basically a commitment, so high commitment to get up there. But there's also no cost associated to anybody that wants to come. Is that right?
There is no cost, and we do not charge anyone. We do not take money from insurance companies, or we don't get funded by the government. It takes a substantial amount each month to run the men and women's side, and that is all based on donations. Donations from the community, businesses, different churches. We plant the seed and God waters, and he's the one that pays the bills. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's been an ongoing miracle all these many years, is something that is that intense and expensive,
Yeah.
but it seems like it's always been provided for. Part of that, I'll share, is that anybody that serves up there also serves, in essence, unpaid. Like you guys, you live there, and the other leaders live there, but aren't paid salaries just to keep things going. Yeah. So it's a pretty huge commitment. Thank you for that. In a way, you guys are, a connection to the fire department is you guys are out there saving people from fires, but it's the one that's burning up their souls, and you get them. And we got the women actually came over from Rainier. Hey, ladies. Welcome. Yeah, that's a cool bunch. And several of them are scary, but
Just Katrina.
yeah. Yeah, and Josh is hiding out there too. He's the director over there. So, what would you say are the things as far as the community should know in terms of things to pray about, things that are of your deeper concern for you, those kind of things?
I would say for the Lord to keep sending souls to the mountain, not only to come through the program and be transformed, but also to make a bigger team up at the ministry so that we can support more people coming in, because God's not going to give us too many people that we can't man the ship for. So we need to build a team along with that. And also coming into these winter months, the bills at the ministry do double and then some. So we are looking for monthly faithful donors to contribute to keeping the lights on and keeping the women warm and the children warm, and just keeping those people coming in. And
This is kind of known around about, but maybe some people don't know that, during the day, there's Bible studies morning and night and such, but during the day, you like to get out, do service projects, help out people. I think a lot of people in the valley over the years have had a bunch of guys come or something and cut firewood or clean up a thing or something like that. So you're available to do those kind of things, bless the community, give back. And so it's been going a long time. I guess I would just affirm, if you ever get a chance, you could go up the top of Maranatha. It's a drive. But in their sanctuary building up there, top to bottom are hundreds and hundreds of people over the years that have gone through that program. And for some of us who know many of those people, it's an amazing thing, the number of restorations and rescues, and knowing for a fact that many of those people would be dead if they hadn't found their way there. And so praise God. Thank you, guys. And we're going to eat, but they got a little table out there with some photos and all, and you can check in with them if you would like afterwards. Okay. Okay, Grange, come on up. Come on. Well, I'm good, okay. She wants to hide, right? Yes. You're okay? Yeah. And Tammy's a little less wanting to hide, okay. Okay. Well, I mentioned the first thing out here was the Grange, I think. Maybe the school, but
About the same time.
about the same time. Yeah, so, but you must have had a building, right?
Well, we did. I was going to talk about this. Made myself.
What-
Oh, the historian.
Okay, you're the historian. Tell us.
The historian. So the Grange started out here meeting in the 1940s, but we were chartered in 1930 at the J. Bush Barn and then we moved everywhere, and then we were at the church at the cemetery, which I think is where you guys had your Bible studies, maybe? I don't know, till we bought the property we're on now in 44.
Must have been.
Yeah. And then the building was built in 52, burnt down also.
Did the fire department burn it down?
I don't know, because it's pretty sketchy. I don't know. But this building's been standing since 1953, so.
There since 53, okay. Well, I got to say, like, when I came back, a couple years back, and I don't really recall, but headed over to the Grange to connect up. I think it was the food pantry out there. I was getting some food in there, and went inside. I hadn't been in the Grange for 15 years, and just started noticing, like, a huge amount of good you guys do in this world. There's a thing, this next week's the bake sale, and artisan market, sold out, right, for tables and all of that. But I'd encourage you downstairs there's a placard, I guess, a whole wall length of all the various things that you make a difference in this community and around and about. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what of the stuff you do, what are you sort of most proud of or feel like are the things that you really make an impact?
Well, is this on? I don't even know. It's green.
It is, yeah.
Well, we kind of saved the building, and you guys helped. We needed 21, or 2022, the septic failed, and soon after that, the furnace failed. And so we did fundraising for 2 solid years. I remember one summer we slogged through doing a garage sale every month. We did like 1 week of a sale. Anyway, it was horrible. But it got us there. It got us to the end. But it was with everybody's support in the whole valley that we were successful and raised enough money to, put this fancy septic in, got a new electric furnace, and had enough money to get new windows, because the windows are as old as the building, and the building's as old as me.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Not quite as old as you. No, I'm older than you.
Are you sure?
I think so, but yeah. Anyway, but we appreciate everybody's support and see a lot of faces around here that I know, and a lot of old families started at the Grange, at the J. Bushes, the Tipperies with their farm out on Ranch Road, out that area. What was Becky Molt? A lot of these people were just, I was back in the day when we didn't have TV.
Yeah.
So they came to the Grange meetings once a month, and they paid 25 cents or something.
Yeah.
Each meeting. It was just, there's Granges that started out in our county. We had 22 Granges in Cowlitz County alone. Now there's 6.
Okay.
But back in the day, there was this story just killed me. They started a new Grange at Sandy Bend because they got tired of rowing a boat across the river to Catlin Grange or something. Ludicrous, so.
Yeah.
They were tough
Cars
people.
back then.
I
They
know.
had to get there somehow.
Yeah, that's a different breed than us, that's for sure. Yeah,
Tough.
yeah,
Tough bunch of people.
yeah. So what is membership at the Grange? Like, if people wanted to be part of it, what does that entail?
This is something we always think about, because the Grange has changed so much over the years, and each individual Grange that we know personally have different needs. Our need right here is to be able to communicate and do whatever we can for our close-knit community here. We're aging out. That means we're all getting old and we're leaving in one way or another. Getting new families, and we have a youth program, but we don't have anybody to run the youth program, so it's kind of hard to get members to join with their kids if we don't have a program set up for that. So those are our newer needs right now. A lot of us have joined because we're new to the area, and this is a great place where we've all met people that we have a lot of things in common with community service work, giving back to whoever. And we have, it's all volunteer. We're there as often as we can be, but we can't be there 24/7, 7 days a week. So we're there as often as possible. So.
Okay. So I guess like many organizations, it's just some hope to figure out a way to go generationally, have things keep going, and so whatever can happen that might make that be a part of it. Okay. So we also, I was thinking about, we share sort of some of the sacred stuff that's gone out around here, funerals, sometimes here, sometimes at the Grange, weddings, sometimes here, sometimes at the Grange. Back in the no dancing around here stage, it would be wedding here and head to the Grange.
It's one of the ways they paid for the Grange when it burnt down, was holding dances.
Holding dances, yeah. But apparently here we're long past the dancing, because now we host professional wrestling, so I don't know what's going on around here, but there's been so many, it's like both places have just been places to bless the community. And that's a prayer we have for here as well, is just to see whatever the strengths and values out on your display you've got, and maybe out there people could look at that. You have all the farm implements, I think it is, started out with, and those are all symbolic of probably pretty important things about, just being fruitful, growing, that good stuff. So anyways, so if we're praying, like we actually, a small group of us pray every week for the Grange, but we were praying for roofs and windows and stuff, but that's happened, so praise God. But just that generational support coming in and moving ahead for the next 100 years or whatever. Yeah, amen. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, hang out. We'll have some food. People can ask questions and sign up even if they wanted, or at least connect. All right. Okay, Dave LaFave.
Sounds to me like you brought me here to roast me over burning the old church. So how did you choose to be a pastor? Oh, you're asking. Okay.
Well, when I got out of prison, it was...
I remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
This one's not on? The light's on.
Okay.
Nobody's home.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try that
That's
one.
a good one, yeah, okay.
Okay, usually people are asking me to be quiet, not be louder.
Yeah, okay. Well, I brought this this is memorabilia from across the way. With this little chain link thing. It's got respect, duty, integrity, Cowlitz 2 Fire District. But it meant something to me this morning, because the previous week during our service I was talking about the way that we have to link up generationally. Like we reach out, those of us have got these histories and link up next generation, and both have to make connections. And it's not just generationally, it's also just neighborly, like, real connections, so to where there's strength for all of us to get, carry on in the things that God's called us to, deal with the challenges that come our way. And so I just appreciate that imagery. So Cowlitz 2, you were chief for a while, and you
21 years.
21 years. How many
Long years.
How many buildings did you burn down?
More than my share.
Okay. So if you could, I think there's a connection, obviously, between Rose Valley and Fire District 2.
Yes.
And maybe a bit of history around that people might not know.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
You want it?
I want it.
Okay, I'll give you the short version. The fire district, which started as Cowlitz County Rural Fire Protection District Number 2, started in 1947, so shortly after World War II. And it was very loosely organized. Didn't have necessarily a central command component and stuff. It was linked with some other fire agencies in some loose organization. Over time, areas that weren't protected and were not served annexed into the fire district by a vote of the people. So the residents of an area, if they wanted to have protection and they were outside of a city, an incorporated city, then they would, during the election, vote to be part of that fire protection district. Rose Valley, so first it was Columbia Heights, Baker's Corner, and then in 1967, Rose Valley wanted to be in the fire district. And Mount Pleasant and Carroll's and a few other areas like that altogether. So the interesting thing about it that's different, that I really think goes along with what you're saying, is when it was time and Rose Valley annexed in the fire district commissioners, fire districts are not part of county government. That's confusing to a lot of people. Fire districts are a separate junior taxing district. They're a subdivision of the state underneath Title RCW 52 of the state of Washington. There'll be a test on this when we're done. Chapter 7, Article 3. Anyway, the fire commissioners at the time of Cowlitz 2 said they would only allow the annexation if the people of Rose Valley provided a fire station, which was different. The district didn't have any funding to build a fire station, so you can annex in, but the service is still very limited. So actually, the people of Rose Valley got a piece of property, which I believe originally was part of the school district, and built that fire station. The people of Rose Valley built that fire station. The fire station that's sitting there now, which, by the way, has never burned down. So
Not yet.
and its names, it's coursers, it's Jay Bushes, there's just a lot of names, Hamers. There's a lot of names in this valley that are old names. My wife's family, coursers and Mendez, a lot of those people ended up becoming charter members of that fire station, and not only building the building, but then acquiring equipment and responding for their neighbors.
And like at least the connection with Rose Valley is you kept taking the pastors out of here into the fire service.
Yeah, it's a knack we have. It's a talent.
Yeah. At least legend is. You're too old, Jeff. I volunteered when they came back in, and I don't know, it didn't happen.
By the way, my wife made me promise not to cuss, so if it sounds like I'm stuck on something, that's
okay,
it.
that's it. Okay, I got it. Okay.
You're out. Well,
There you go.
Oh my gosh,
There's people out there.
holy smokes.
Okay. So, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, yeah. And we had one went off to professional fire service.
Yep, Roger.
Yeah.
Seattle
and-
Fire Department.
and-
He's since retired.
Yeah. And then George Bales, I guess, was on the volunteer. thing
Very
forever.
active,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. He would, at least legend has it, if he was hoping for calls on Sunday morning so he could leave, which he did frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, pardon me?
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I wanted to ask you, though, Dave, today is in the matter of really praying for is, we've been blessed that the call went out again a year or so ago out here in Rose Valley that we didn't have enough volunteers to staff, and people did come. Enough came. We've gone through the process, and are now the volunteer staff is up. Saved everybody who lives out here some money on their insurance. Thank you, Jesus. And they're building this place out there that maybe could be staffed at some point more. But we got a lot of new volunteers, firemen and firewomen who are there, and just as a matter of how we as a community could support them, bless them, pray for them, as someone who's spent your life going to the rescue and experiencing whatever that is and meeting people on the worst day of their life, what are some of the things we ought to be thinking about and that we could help these guys? All the volunteers live within 5 miles of here. And just to be thinking about them, praying for them, that kind of thing.
Well, any of these, law enforcement, fire, military, any of these things take a toll. Now you did lock me up. I could guess a little. I could talk about myself. Not that I want to do that, but I don't like talking about issues that other people have. It takes a part of you, and it does not discriminate. Some people would say, well, they're just a volunteer. There's no such thing. There's no such thing that says a volunteer didn't just try to save a baby's life, so they aren't affected. It's only the people who do it career. It's like you've heard about other things. I remember the first structure fire I went to riding backwards in the engine in the jump seat praying. I wasn't praying for my safety. I was praying to do my job. Pray for that. It's imperfect. You have 45 seconds to take a bunch of information, like I've never been in your house before, and I get there and it's on fire, and now someone wants me to go find something in a particular spot that they go to every day, and I got to make it through the house in extreme temperatures with no visibility, trying to move forward with a hose line and advance on a fire in something I've never been in before. And I'm only saying that from my perspective because as a fire chief for 21 years, I had that perspective for every one of my people. So if you want the simplest thing to pray for is to pray for strength for them and tolerance by the people that have an unrealistic expectation for what they're trying to do. You are human, and you're being asked to do things that are I remember, and my wife she served as well as far as being my wife, because you're not alone in serving. You either have that support or you don't. And I'll tell you right now, I'm a better husband since I retired from the fire department than I ever was for 38 years that I was in the fire department, because I didn't know how to tell her about what was going on. And why would I, right? She doesn't need to experience those things and carry them with her. However, she would say, I'm your wife, and we're together. So you're making 45-second decisions with imperfect information, and the whole world's got a lifetime to decide whether you were right or not in those 45 seconds. This week is hard for me because November 11th, 1993, 2 freight trains hit head-on down here on the railroad tracks. And I was first in. I laugh because when my pager went off, I was at home and we lived, you can see where we lived right from here. And the pager was going off and more tones, reports of explosions, fire, all kinds of stuff. And I got up and Amy knew I was the duty chief. She said, you better call someone. And I thought, yeah. And then I realized I'm the call. I'm it. And a lot of our guys struggled also after that because some of them had worked for the railroad. They came out of those professions and it stirred up old things for them. So you asked us really a simple question about what should people pray for. Number one, they should pray that the organization has the support it needs to do what it's being asked to do. That's number one. And some people, it's not just money, it's all kinds of support. It's tolerance for what they're doing, not criticism for what they're doing. That used to frustrate me more than anything. And that their welfare, their well-being is taken care of. When I joined the fire department, they said, you either need to figure out how to deal with it or get out. Deal with it or get out. And I have to tell you, maybe I'm a messed up individual because of that. I don't think I am, but my wife might think different. But obviously it stirs up emotion. And that in and of itself can be an issue. So pray for them, that there are resources available for them, that they don't have to just learn how to deal with it or get out, because if that happens, that's what leads to us not having enough people to respond. This is a volunteer-based station. It's one of 4 fire stations in Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue. We are responding to us. I started in 1983 as a volunteer in that station. My 2 older brothers were volunteers. My 2 nephews were volunteers. My 2 sons were volunteers. My father-in-law was a volunteer. My wife's uncles were volunteers. It's a legacy. And I can't say any of this without talking about Dan Baxter, who was a longtime member here, who was a mentor of mine. And he gave a lot to make sure this capability was here. So I'm sure I went way beyond what your question was after.
No, I figured it was in there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want.
It's a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Dan paid that price too. And so we know that you carry things. We know that these young ones that are going to experience some things. But I appreciate that just to pray for the support. Often when we pray over at the station, we're actually just praying that they don't get called.
Yeah.
But that, whatever happens, I guess that's a thing I hadn't thought about, is that you're going to respond, but that things would go well in the response. And they do what they need to do so they can, not all outcomes are great, but it'd be nice if they weren't second-guessed in it.
Yeah. And it's more now, we, 80% of the calls are medical calls.
Yeah.
Less fire. When I started, we were running mostly fires. Some people
Putting
called
them
it
out.
urban renewal, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, but,
Yeah.
but now the medical calls really, and your fire district's running over 6,000 calls a year. That's a lot of calls every day. And while a lot of it's what I would call routine, I used to tell people 90% of it is somewhat monotonous, 10% of it is sheer terror. So, there you go. Sorry you asked, right?
No, not, no. We take prayer very serious. Like, it changes things. And so knowing how is a huge thing. And I appreciate you sharing that.
And I guess I would end with this. My own case, I have cardiac sarcoid myopathy. I have a rare disease from something I breathed. I have 75% pulmonary function. These people will pay a physical price for what they do if they do it long enough. The good news is we don't let them do the stupid things that we used to, like going in without an air pack, and that made you tough. That was manly. That was stupid, is what it was. So they will pay a toll. And I know myself, I'm sitting here 12 years after I was affected by that. And I'm 100% confident it was due to a lot of people praying for me.
We like to have you around. Well, thank you. So, bless you. Just a couple things, we'll wrap up with a song. Please hang out and let's visit together. Love your neighbor day, right? And the best way to love your neighbor is to eat food, apparently. But, other things just to be thankful for and all this was, well, actually, John, why don't you had something you wanted to share? Would this be appropriate, like now? Okay.
I was just going to share the poster out there when the pastors came. In 1959, George Bales showed up at Rose Valley Friends Church. Which my dad, Roy J. Bush, was one of the initial Grange members. But Dad, in the early 1950s, had built a baseball field a mile down the road. Took his cat and pulled all the stumps and built a baseball field. In 1959, George Bales showed up, and my dad thought, this young guy, man, he'd make a great coach. I'm going to go up and ask him if he'll come and coach a baseball team. Well, George said no, he wasn't going to come and coach a baseball team, but he invited my dad and his family to church. The rest is history.